Hello, my brush lads, lasses, and everybody in between. My name is Tyler, and on today's, I'm going to admit, lazily edited Tabs for Two, where we've just got Mythic Spoiler open, I'm joined by my buddy Maechael.
Hello.
And we're going to talk about the D&D set, Adventures in the Forgotten Realms. At the time of recording, the whole set has not been spoiled yet, but we've got a bunch of fun stuff here. It's also not all in English, but if we can translate them. But yeah, this set seems like hilarious.
Yeah, I think I have to agree with that. Hilarious would be a good descriptor for it.
Because so we've got like all of those instants that are like where's a good one? Where's even,
like the modal?
Yeah, like here we go. You hear something on watch. You know, 1 in a white, choose one, instant, rouse the party, creatures you control get +1/+1 until end of turn, set off traps, the spell deals 5 damage to target attacking creature. So like it's a charm. Like we've had these spells before. The only new thing is that now each ability on it is named.
Yeah. The action words, as they were.
Yeah, because like even right underneath that, the Dawnbringer Cleric, it's the exact same thing. 1 in a white, human cleric. When it enters the battlefield, choose one. You know, normal in any other set, we would just get, choose one, gain 2 life, destroy target enchantment, or exile a card from a graveyard. Whereas now it's Cure Wounds, Dispel Magic, and Gentle Repose, which I assume are cleric spells, but I don't play cleric. I'm not a coward.
Calling people out like that already. Wow.
I'm a paladin, so like, I'm a cleric who fights.
You're just a cleric with an axe.
Excuse you, I use a mace. Or a flail. Flail is my preferred weapon.
Okay, so you're a flagellant cleric.
Anyways. No, my favorite of all of these is the Grim Wanderer, the Goblin Warlock. 1 in a black for a 5/3 with flash, but he can only be cast if a creature died this turn, but that ability is called Tragic Backstory.
That is pretty good, yeah.
But, I mean, coming into this, we get a whole bunch of really cool legends. So, like, what is there anything, like, you're super excited about for, like, Commander or anything?
Honestly, I think I'm still processing Modern Horizons 2 as far as Commander goes, but I'm liking the way that this is looking. I do have to say, with you bringing up Grim Wanderer, it says it's a Goblin Warlock. That's clearly a human.
I'm wondering, because we've also got Hobgoblins in this set. And if I know my lore at all, Hobgoblins are bigger than regular goblins, and they'd be more human-sized.
Okay. I guess that makes sense.
I know there's... Oh no, that's a bugbear. I get bugbears and hobgoblins mixed up. Because we've got, regular goblins in this set, and you're right, they're tiny.
Right, and like that's like a full-sized human-looking thing.
That's a man.
Oh, you know what? Actually, I think I get an allusion to a future set that we know is coming, the Lord of the Rings crossover thing. This could be a parallel for Strider/Aragorn going to meet the halflings for the tragic backstory.
Good old Aragorn, famous goblin warlock.
But I'm saying, like...
No, I get you.
You take this as Boromir, then. That's the tragic backstory, the human who has to die for the character to come in.
I would say Faramir is the one with the tragic backstory, because he's the one that, like, his father didn't love. Boromir just had a tragic front story.
I mean, we can kind of go with technically they all have tragic backstories.
Fair point.
To some extent.
No, I'm just... The way that they've brought the D&D flavor into this set is remarkable. Like, the +2 mace. Like, that's just funny.
Yeah. So, you asked me about things like I'm interested in for Commander.
Yeah.
It's not a Commander, but it's a commander card, which is Circle of Dreams Druid.
Oh yeah, isn't that that's just
Gaia's Cradle on a stick.
Yeah, that's just Gaia's Cradle on a stick. And didn't we get in Modern Horizons 2 Sarah's Sanctum on a stick?
I believe so, yes.
Fantastic.
Actually, I have to correct myself. I said on a stick. It's on a body. On a stick is an artifact.
Okay,
that was my bad.
Fair point. But yeah, Circle of Dreams Druid, green, 2/1, Elf Druid, tap, add green for each creature you control. Like, yeah, that's... I mean, it's obviously worse than Gaia's Cradle, because, you know, you have to pay triple green for it, and it can die. But it also... Gaia's Cradle can, like, be dead if you have no creatures, so this thing will always tap for a green.
Yeah. And also, this works for the other budget replacement for Gaia's Cradle, which is Itlamok.
Yeah.
So this activates it, as well as being a second instance of it.
Okay, I'm glad that green is getting all of these tools. It desperately needed all the help it can get in Commander. Green is it's an underpowered color.
I mean, I have to agree with you. Green is just utterly lacking.
It's right up there with blue. Like, if we could get them up to the level that white's at.
I mean, like, have you seen Flumph?
I love him.
I don't know why that's a rare.
Because it's card draw in white, and they can't make that easy to get.
But it's card draw in white that is for you and an opponent.
True. I do also want to know, I do also want to point out that it's not necessarily the opponent that's dealing it damage, and two, not necessarily an opponent dealing it damage.
It's true.
So, like, you could have someone, like, you could, like, block with it, and then, like, get somebody else entirely to draw a card with you.
In the area of Commander, yes, I'll give you that. But in the area of Standard, it's just you and your opponent draw a card.
Yeah, fair point. Sometimes
and again,
I forget other formats exist.
That's rare.
I mean, I get it. Kind of. I mean, it is also, you know, a 2-mana 0/4 flyer.
With Defender.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's going right into my my Omnath Defender landfall deck. But I mean, like, for the card quality that White has been kind of given in the last few sets, like, they've gotten some real bangers, but, like, I can understand putting this thing at rare. Granted, I could also see it being literally, like, in any other color, like an uncommon.
Right.
Which is the sad part. But, I mean, I also kind of want to talk about what's right next to it, just because I love creatures that are, their names are also their creature types. Good old Dragon Turtle.
Yeah.
I love him.
Dragon Turtle, creature type, Dragon Turtle.
Like, what is it? What's your name, name, rank, and profession? Dragon Turtle. Dragon Turtle. Dragon Turtle. But, I mean, a 3/5 for 3 with Flash, like, I'm already on board with that.
Yeah.
When it enters the battlefield, tap it and up to one target creature an opponent controls. You don't, or they don't untap during their controller's next untap step.
So I do have to say it's odd that you can't use it as a blocker because it's when it enters. So you can flash it in, but you can't flash to block, so you have to do it before attacks.
Worth noting, it is up to. So theoretically, it doesn't have to drag anything below, and you can just flash it in and block.
Oh, no, because it taps no matter what.
Oh, that's... Okay, I see. Oh, tap it and up to one. Oh. Declare dominance. Don't declare another target creature. Well, I mean, we had the giant from Kaldheim who had flash, but who entered the battlefield tapped.
True, but that's more like an end step trick, whereas this is, you want to do it pre-combat to stay alive. I mean, I guess you could use it to tap down their blocker.
Yeah, but then the turtle still doesn't untap during your next turn, so I see what you're saying.
Well, right, but I'm saying you could use this as a combat trick on their end step. You tap down their one blocker and swing in with what you already had on the board.
Oh, fair point. It's just You're right. It's a weird card, but like I'm a sucker for both of these creature types. I literally have things with shells tribal, that is crabs and turtles.
That is fair.
Uh,
I have not seen this card before. Froghemoth.
oh yeah, Froghemoth. It's I saw some people comparing it to Questing Beast.
And Skoos tacked onto it.
Yeah. Uh, as well as some people claiming that it is like more. I think it was Shivam that's like, how is this giant froggy boy more formidable than the Tarask? And it's like he's not right, but I don't know if I'd necessarily call him wrong.
I mean,
Or no, it was why does the Froghemoth get trampled but the Tarask doesn't? That's what it was.
well, because it fights on attack. The Tarask does.
I'll pull up the Tarask real quick. 6 green for a legendary creature dinosaur. That's an interesting. I like that it's legendary. When it enters the battlefield, if it was cast, it gains haste and ward 10. And whenever the Tarask attacks, it fights one target creature defending player controls. So I think it's interesting that it's got the if it was cast. So like there's no like you can cheat it into play, but it's going to be significantly worse.
Yeah, it's just a 10/10 that has to wait.
Yeah, that whereas if you find a way to cast it, then it comes with that, haste and ward 10. And like I guess I understand going with ward 10 because I guess the whole thing with the Tarask is it's not immune to all spells, it's only immune to most magical attacks, so I guess giving it ward, especially at this high of a number, versus just like hexproof or shroud, like only like certain spells would be able to kill it.
True.
Which I find even funnier because if you've got an extra 10 mana, generally it means it's going to be the cheaper spells that are killing it.
I have 11 mana, half to exile.
But
well, so, from my understanding of the Tarask, because admittedly it's been a long, long time since I played actual D&D, it wasn't so much that it was indestructible, but that it had incredible regeneration. Like, it would regrow an arm in the middle of combat if you didn't continuously hit it over and over.
Yeah, so my significant other plays D&D a lot more than I do, but I'm into Magic, so we're both in Wizard's Pocket. We did an episode of Taps for Two a while back when Zendikar Rising came out, where we looked at the Zendikar D&D book, and it recommends reskinning the Tarask for the Eldrazi Titans, like Kozilek, Ulamog, and Emrakul, and that terrified Lee. I think it kind of put into perspective for them just how powerful the Titans were supposed to be, because according to Lee, you're not even meant to kill the Tarask, you're meant to drive it away.
Right.
And I think it's anything short of having the wish spell is not going to be able to kill it. So, I see what people are getting at when they're kind of disappointed with how this thing was built. This thing doesn't live up to the legend of the Tarask. But I think you're right. I feel like if this was not... if this was in a commander set, not, a standard set, I think this thing would be way more powerful. But you were talking about, I think, before we started recording, that it would warp the format.
Yeah.
It would be like putting Blightsteel.
Yeah. Again, I like the card without having a vehement and
I still need a dozen copies of it.
Yeah.
It's going in all of my green decks, but
yeah, it's like an extra Carnage Tyrant.
It super is. Ward, real quick. Ward only affects opponents, right?
I believe so. Yes.
So if I were to put this into Ghidorah and mutate onto it, I don't have to pay the extra 10 for Ghidorah.
I believe so.
Fantastic.
Also, I believe Ward is only for spells, not abilities.
It is both.
Oh, it is both? Okay.
Yeah, I looked it up earlier.
Then yeah.
But anyway, going back to the big froggy boy, is good old frog horror coming back from what's it, Shadows or
Gitrog.
Eldritch Moon?
I believe it was Shadows.
But yeah, bringing back, rolling back frog horror. 3 green, 4/4, trample haste. Okay, I'm on board. When it deals combat damage to a player, exile up to that many target cards from their graveyard. Put a +1/+1 counter on Froghemoth for each creature card exiled this way. Gain 1 life for each non-creature card exiled this way. Yeah, it's kind of like they ripped Skooz in half, and they changed a little bit of half of it. They changed the life gain part, and then shoved it inside a frog.
Yeah.
It's weird. It's super, super weird, but I love him. It's right up there with Gelatinous Cube. I'm so happy.
I don't know why, but I feel like Gelatinous Cube being black is just not right.
Is it because the cube itself is green?
Kind of, but also like there are other ooze things even in this set that are green.
Yeah, like the Ochre Jelly.
Yeah, like that just, it seems like oozes are primarily green. There have been other ones, like Gelatinous Cube's closest proxy would be Necrotic Ooze or Mephitic Ooze.
I thought Necrotic Ooze was black.
That's what I'm saying. Those are the two.
Right. Yeah, no,
black
because I'm building Ooze Tribal with the Mimeoplasm, so I've got black and green oozes. But I think the fact that they made it black comes from the dissolve ability, because that dissolve definitely seems like a very black thing to do. Because so real quick for the card, Gelatinous Cube, 2 black for a 4/3, which that bothers me. The fact that it's not a 4/4.
Yeah.
That's I hate it.
It's not a cube or even a 2/4.
Or as April had pointed out, it is 4 cubed. 4 to the 3rd.
That is fair.
But engulf. When it enters the battlefield, exile target non-ooze creature an opponent controls until Gelatinous Cube leaves the battlefield. We've seen that ability type before. That's just an O-ring. So we're taking more things from white and giving them to other colors.
I was going to say that does seem like an Orzhov ability more so than just a mono black ability.
But then dissolve. X and black. Put target creature card with mana value X, exiled with Gelatinous Cube, into its owner's graveyard. So, it's eating whatever it absorbed.
Right.
Which definitely makes this a really, a better flicker target than, most O-rings. Because you can, have it enter, it can eat something, you can dissolve the thing, and then you can flicker it to do it again.
That's true. I think it's a good card. I feel like it, at worst, maybe it should be a hybrid black-green card.
I could see the argument for black-green. But I understand why they went with black.
Yeah.
Because then you've got the Ochre Jelly, X and a green for an ooze with trample. Enters with X +1/+1 counters. And it has divide. When Ochre Jelly dies, if it had 2 or more +1/+1 counters on it, create a token that's a copy of it at the beginning of the next end step. That token enters the battlefield with half of those +1/+1 counters rounded down. That definitely seems super, super green.
So, something that's weird about this feels like the never-ending ooze, which should be when you kill it, you get 2 token copies.
I agree. That's dividing is we're just getting 1 ooze back that's just smaller. That's not dividing, that's subtracting.
Yeah. Yes. Oh, you have killed me. I'm slightly smaller now. Because you have killed me again. I'm slightly smaller again.
Even just over here on the thesaurus on Mythic Spoiler for it, we've got the Mitotic Slime, who is that. It's when it is put into the graveyard from the battlefield, so it's a 4/4. When it dies, you make 2 2/2s, and each of those 2/2s, when they die, make 2 1/1s. That is, I feel like that's what this jelly should have been.
Yeah.
Because that's division.
Well, actually, you mentioned Mitotic that's in the thesaurus. Then you've got Splitting Slime beneath that and Inexorable Blob beneath that. And all 3 of those have the same concept of it makes more of itself.
Right, with the
But
spitting
yes,
slime, when it becomes monstrous, obviously you can't make it monstrous again, but it makes a token that's a copy
right.
of itself, which can then also be made monstrous, so it keeps
Yeah, it
making
just
more.
continues the cycle.
And then I keep closing out.
Inexorable blob is just delirium. When it deals combat to a creature, it becomes a copy of inexorable blob.
When it attacks and there are at least 4 cards in your graveyard, make a 3/3 green ooze. No, it's inexorable blob is you make a 3/3 ooze.
Oh, sorry, I had a different card in mind. Consuming aberration, I think. Is that
But
what I was thinking
but
of?
you're right
Yeah,
with that concept of this is like slime division, so it is kind of weird that they're gonna call what the ochre jelly does division, but it's not.
someone was dividing by 0. Oh no!
Um, but like there's so many like I like that we got a kobold. I love minion of the mighty. Red 01 menace already. I'm on board. Like it could have no other text and just I'm on board with that. And then with all of the like keywords going around, I like that pack tactics is actually one of the keywords from the set.
Okay, so this is something I'm actually going to take an issue with. You like it. I hate the fact that it's keyworded as pack tactics because every single card that has pack tactics has a different trigger.
What do you mean?
Look at every single card in the set that has the line pack tactics. Every single one of them does something different.
Yeah, but they all trigger off the same thing. They all trigger off if you attack with creatures with total power 6 or greater. They just have a different resolution based on what the thing is.
Right, but that's okay. Fetch lands are too complicated for new players. We have a keyword. Yeah, it triggers on the same thing, but every single card does something different.
Yeah, but that's not new. Like Delirium was the same way. They all the things that once you hit Delirium, they all did different things based on the card.
That's fair. I don't know. This just it feels. I guess maybe like there's too many of the abilities that do too many different things, whereas Delirium was all get stuff into graveyard, do things that feed the same synergy. Like there's a venture into the dungeon one. There's a
But see,
do
I would argue that because it's based off the creature itself, it's what like a pack of those creatures would do. So like the kobold's pack tactics, getting a dragon into play, wouldn't make sense for like the Knowles pack tactics who have nothing to do with dragons.
I guess that's fair. Again, this is more of a personal issue with the concept of like why we can and can't do things in standard sets.
Oh, I found the hobgoblin. The hobgoblin I was looking for when we were talking about that 2 mana 5/3. Yeah, they're bigger than normal goblins. It's red. It's 1, 2, 3. It's fourth from the bottom of the red column. Like that goblin is the size of a man. It's right next to the owl bear. So, Ayula's getting more tech.
Oh, it's funny because it says hobgoblin captain and then it's just a goblin.
Yeah, because I think hobgoblins are just another breed of goblin.
Yeah.
But speaking of creature types, Beholder we finally got. Bard we finally got. Tiefling is here.
Do you think Beholder is a good thing?
I'm sad that it wasn't I.
That's exactly what I was going to ask you next because, yeah,
Like I
that's
get it. I mean, you should know my love of weird creature types by now. Like
yeah.
I I even back when I was doing my daily MTG of like creature types that need a legendary commander. I did on the day that this Baleful Beholder's art was revealed, but none of the rest of the card was. And I was like, I choose because I'm hoping that the Beholders will have creature type because it makes sense. But
nope, they're beholders.
which again, I understand. I love weird creature types, and I would have liked to see like Eye Beholder or something like that. I would have liked to see Eye, but that's just me.
I'm still sad that we haven't seen a card that says beauty is in the eye of the beholder on the card.
Keep
And
in
it's like,
mind, when we're recording this, we have not had the full set spoiled yet. There's
I know, but
still a chance.
There is, but like it's gonna be like capture the princess, and like the beholder has like the princess character in the tentacles right in front of its eye. It's right there. It's so necessary. And it's right
beauty's
there.
in the eye of the okay, where the princess is the beauty. I get it. I do like that they gave us a legendary beholder, Xanathar,
Yeah.
Guild Kingpin, which I love.
Yeah.
I love the legends in this set so much.
I feel like that card is just already drawing so much hate.
Did you see the professor's video on it?
I have not been able to watch it yet, but I saw that it was up.
He starts the video going that it's fair. It takes an entire turn cycle before it does anything, and it's less broken than Send triplets, so everything should be fine. And then he's like, now try telling that to your play group with a straight face. Because the video is called, like, How to Lose Friends and Alienate Your Play Group or something like that.
Yes. Oh.
No, this thing is super funny, especially, if you can get, like, multiple upkeep triggers.
Oh, yeah.
Also, did you notice that, okay, so we've got Nadar, Selfless Paladin, the Dragon Knight. We've got Eliwick, Tumblestrom, the Gnome Planeswalker Bard. We've got, where is he? There's 4 of them. He's green. Varys, Silvery Moon Ranger. And the last one is multicolored. Where is she?
Down at the bottom.
Is she multicolored? Or is she blue?
Volo Guide to Monsters?
No. She's a human wizard, but it's not him. But anyway, on all of the cards that are like, you find the villain's lair, you see a guard approach, you come to a null camp, it's the 4 of them. They're the adventuring party in all of these cards.
Okay, so having heard you say that, does it not feel weird that we don't have the party mechanic in this set?
I kind of. I get it though, because we're playing around with a lot more creature types than what party initially did. And so I think if they wanted to include party here, they would either have to limit the creature types that they were going to do, or party initially needed to be worded differently. So, like, I get why people would be upset that party isn't here, but I also understand that why they didn't do it based on how it was originally worded.
That's fair. It still seems...
You're right. I feel like it should have been worded differently initially to work in both Zendikar and here, as opposed to just have it worded so it works in Zendikar, but not here, how we got it.
I'll take you one step further on that and say that they probably just should not have used it in Zendikar and saved it for this set.
Yeah, I guess that's fair. Because I know Zendikar's whole claim to fame was that it was the D&D plane, but that's not really the case anymore now that we have the actual D&D set.
Yeah. Like, not only do we have a plane for D&D, we have an entire realm of planes for D&D.
So yeah, I'm in the camp. Here she is. For some reason, she's in the artifacts. Hama Pashar Ruin Seeker. So she's a human. So there's a human wizard. There's a gnome bard planeswalker, a dragon knight who's a paladin, and I think he's an elven ranger.
Yes.
And yeah, they're the adventuring party that's on all of these like adventure cards. Like you see a pair of goblins. There was one here in particular. You come to a Knoll camp.
Yeah, where you can clearly see them.
It's the 4 of them, and because I think Gavin Verhey had mentioned that the commanders of the D&D commander sets, because I think there's 4 of them, they are also an adventuring party. And I think that's really neat.
It is. So earlier you had asked if there was a card I'm interested in for commander specifically, and one had skipped my mind that I just saw earlier today. And it's an uncommon. It's Gretchen Titchwillow.
Her. I love her. I love her so much. Yeah, because I had retweeted the picture of just, I love her. Oh, yeah, she's not a gnome. She's a halfling. Okay, that's why I like her. I hate gnomes.
Hard stance.
But, my time playing World of Warcraft is what got me to hate them. But anyway, I love her so much. She's so cute.
She's like, I don't know. I want to say like the casual version of Thrasios.
I saw some people also comparing her to being a fair Tatiova.
Oh, I would say she's definitely not a fair Tatiova.
Well, Tatiova just triggered immediately whenever a land entered. With her, you have to pay to do it.
But Tatiova is 5 mana. Gretchen is 2.
Yeah, but it's an additional 4 mana to do the ability.
In the colors that can do infinite mana the fastest.
I'm just repeating what I saw earlier. But yeah, she's kind of in that similar vein, but with kind of... Yeah. It's nice to see them trying to put more, breaks on the broken Simic legends that we've gotten over the past couple years.
One of the best versions of seeing that is this card, is the fact that it has no power.
I didn't even notice that she's an 0/4.
Yes, she's a defender that doesn't say defender.
I like the fact that she can attack with no power. I like to send messages that way.
Turn one our razor.
Like this whole thing of drawing cards and putting in lands and all of that, like it's so busted in Simic that I guess there's an event coming to Arena on July 3rd, the Mirror event, where they're taking 10 broken cards that are, I think, in Historic.
Yeah.
And they are changing them just for this event to make them more fair. So that you can play them. Like, Field of the Dead is being made legendary, so people can't get 4 of them out.
My favorite one is 3 fairies, not Teferi.
Yeah, there's that one, but Uro is one of them, and they took away Uro's ability to put in a land on entry and attack.
See, I like the concept as a, hey, what if? But I don't like the idea that it seems to be leaning towards we're going to errata cards on Arena, and it's going to be a different format than anywhere else.
Yeah, ever. No. I like that they're doing it for the event, but yeah, no, I agree. I don't think that because it's not like, what's the World of Warcraft, Hearthstone. Because Hearthstone, They can do that easily, but that's because Hearthstone is purely digital. Yeah,
it's a digital-only game.
But you're right. I hope this doesn't result in Arena's thing. I do want to bring up that I love the legendary Gnoll, Targ Demon Fanged. I love him.
Yeah.
I've been more and more on board with the uncommon legends of the last couple years.
I feel like that's probably one of the best costed legends I've seen in a while, in any color combination. It's a good ability, it's good stats, it's easy enough to pump up, it's not going to be a 4 of in every single deck you see everywhere in Standard, and it's also going to be okay in Commander.
And he's a great mana sink.
Yeah.
Let's see, what else? I like how they took the concept of half elves and they made them just human elves.
Yeah. You have to have a backstory for your bard characters all the time in D&D, so it makes sense that you'd have to carry that over into Magic.
Right. I want to point out that half elf is also just a half human. Why do we only have to go half elf or half orc or half dragon?
I mean, Tefesh Sat will answer that one for you.
Did you see the new demon, the new legendary demon, Orcus?
Orcus, Prince of Undeath?
Yeah, X 2 black red, 5/3, flying trample. When he enters the battlefield, choose one. Each other creature, so that includes your opponent's creatures, gets -X/-X until end of turn. You lose X life. So he can come in and he can just like wipe a board. He's kind of a toxic deluge on a stick or on a body.
I feel like Orcus has infinitely better use as the second ability, which is return up to X target creatures with total mana value X or less from your graveyard to the battlefield and give them haste.
No, I get that.
I'm saying good. Like the toxic deluge part is interesting, but I mean it's X and 4, so you're at 5 mana to get back or to kill 1/1s.
I don't like that cards are making me do more math.
And rolling dice too.
Because like, all right, let's say X equals 6. So you paid 10 mana for this guy, and you pick the second ability. So you can get up to 6 target creatures with a total mana value of 6 or less from your grave. So you can get 6 1-drops. You can get, but that's like kind of the most. Like you couldn't get like, oh, all of these 0-drops. Like, no, you'd be able to get up to 6 of those.
I think even just getting back one decent sized creature or creatures that trigger other creatures. So like the return from the graveyard style stuff, like Prized Amalgam and I can't remember some of the other dredge ones, but basically the things that you're normally seeing pitched to the yard just to be brought back when something comes back. This is a great enabler for that kind of strategy.
No, I feel it. Because no matter how much you pay for X, I don't think I see this guy ever getting like more than 3 things back. Like I think you dump a bunch of mana into him, and then maybe you get like, you're right, maybe 1 big thing. I could see getting like 2 medium things. I could see like for an aristocrats deck, because being black red, it's kind of in that Jund aristocrats pie. Getting back a couple of 2-drops that all do something when they die.
Well, so that's what I'm saying with Orcus. Even if all it does is get back like I don't know, a lightning skelemental or something, it can trigger all the other creatures in your yard that have, if a creature left the battlefield, return to the battlefield at the end of turn.
Right.
Which pair that with what is it? Sir Conrad.
Sir Conrad's so good.
And Desecrated Tomb.
Yeah, no, I mean, you're right. Orcus seems good.
Yeah,
seems real good.
But I mean, I might personally be undervaluing the Toxic Deluge on a body. You're probably right. That's more powerful than I'm thinking it is.
So I'm looking at it from the perspective of I have a deck that I would put him in, and it's Rakdos Eldrazi. So I'm not as scared of that deluge part, because there's a good chance that unless I'm paying a ton of mana, my stuff is not going to die. Like, I'm rocking 9/9s, 10/10s, and 11/11s. I could drop this guy where X equals 5, wipe my opponent's boards, and then swing with, albeit slightly smaller, Eldrazi for the turn.
This is true. Yeah, I think I think I might be undervaluing that ability, or that mode.
How do you feel about venturing to the dungeon? How do you feel about the dungeons in general?
I think I kind of like them for standard. I am confused as to why there are only 3.
I saw because Loading Ready Run did a tap concede where they talked about them, and I think it was Cameron who brought up that they put them to 3 because with how many things are venturing into the dungeons, keep in mind like how many choices you have to make
Right.
and how many choices you have to consider when you're picking a dungeon to go into. And so they wanted it almost seems like they wanted to like give you choices but didn't want you to like have like 10 dungeons and you're sitting there like, all right, I'm going to venture into the dungeon. Let me look at all 10 of them and see what abilities I want, just eat up that much time. Whereas limiting them to 3, it's going to be a little bit quicker to like, all right, we're doing this one.
I'm going to bring it back that they say that fetch lands are too complicated for standard. You want to talk about slowing a game down? How about this? Okay, you venture into the dungeon.
All
What
right.
does that mean?
Do you want Dungeon of the Mad Mage? Do you want Tomb of Annihilation? Or do you want Lost Mine of Pandelver? Like, all
Oh,
right,
and
well, what
also,
does each one do? Well, if you go into Dungeon of the Mad Mage, you have Yawning Portal, which leads into dungeon level, which can either go into the Goblet, but yeah, you're right. It just explaining what each one does will take several
and
minutes.
also, all 3 of them are color breaks.
Are they? They're not colored though.
Look at the cards. One is black, one is green, one is traditional artifact brown.
Huh.
Dungeon of the Mad Mage is entirely red-blue abilities with some black splash on a black card. Tomb of Annihilation is almost entirely black abilities with a red splash on a green card. Lost Mine of Phandelver, all black and green abilities on an artifact skin.
That's interesting. I wonder if like these were actually meant to be colored or if they just did that to differentiate the 3 from each other so that like if you're playing against someone, they can kind of like eye and be like, "All right, they're in the green dungeon." But it's not really meant to be like a green dungeon. It was just, "All right, Tomb of Annihilation's the green one as opposed to Dungeon of the Mad Mage, which is the
I mean,
black one."
I feel like they could have just used non-mana symbol or recognizable colors for
Fair,
that.
fair point.
Like, have them be purple, like the Magic Online specialty cards.
Okay, yeah, no, I could see that. Uh, do you have a favorite of the 3? Because I'm Tomb of Annihilation all day long.
I think I am too for well, so outside of standard, I think I am Tomb of Annihilation. In standard, I think I'm on Dungeon of the Mad Mage.
No, I agree. I think in Commander, I'm all Tomb of Annihilation. I think the other 2 are both really good for standard, just because I like Lost Mine of Pandelver. Just the fact that it gives you creatures or it gives you ramp, like that one versus just all the abilities. Because oh yeah, Dungeon also can give you ramp and give you creatures.
Yeah.
Whereas Tomb of Annihilation, I'm going through the oubliette every time because I want the Atropal. I want the weird demon fetus, which is what they are.
And then you equip it with a Vorpal sword.
I love the Vorpal sword so much. Where is it? There it is. I love the Vorpal sword, but that's only because I love alternate win cons.
I have a weird feeling with it because like I like it, but it's like it's 8 mana. After paying 1 to play it, 2 to equip it, hoping the creature doesn't die. Whereas the answer to it, Portable Hole.
Exile target non-land permanent. Opponent controls a mana value 2 or less. Yeah, but that's a
Yeah.
that's a risk I'm willing to take for the Vorpal sword.
Well, I just think it's funny. Like White once again has literally the best removal in the set because it goes back to like Swords to Plowshares was great removal.
Yeah, White can do a lot with 1 mana.
Yeah, Path to Exile.
The problem
and now
is
Portable Hole.
that's usually where it ends. Once you start adding more mana, they start getting worse.
I mean that's fair, but also like my opponent goes turn 1 Soul Ring Signet, pass turn, and I go Plains, Portable Hole, take your Soul Ring. I feel pretty decent about that.
Yeah, no, I get it. With White's whole thing is like, we're the color of fairness. You are going to play fair magic whether you want to or not.
Well, it's also like that's a great political move because you're like, okay, they went off. I spent my entire turn slowing them down. So you get two other players and you're going like, no,
Like
no,
I can continue to slow them down, but I'm going to need you guys to make use of that and not turn on me.
yeah, keep me alive and I will keep doing what I just did.
I dig it. Uh, okay, so we got an Illithid.
Yes.
Grazilax, Illithid Scholar. Uh, are you disappointed that he is just a horror and not like a squid horror?
Considering that I'm pretty sure we already had squid horrors,
We
I
have.
feel like,
We have. There's one, the Chasm Skulker.
but I feel like we could have just, I don't know, because it's a humanoid squid horror, so that would put it closer to like the cephalids.
So what you're saying is this should be a cephalid horror.
I think that would be a closer fit. Yeah.
I think that would be real funny. I think he's really neat, but yeah, I'm just sad that it's just a horror. I would have liked, although the idea of something that's like sentient having like no race, just this class of it is a horror, I think is hilarious.
Yeah.
Uh,
So this is something that I just realized and is kind of bugging me. So give me a second to see if I can verify this.
while you look that up, I'm just going to point out that I love that rolling a d20 is becoming a thing.
So Grazilax is just Yeheni with a squid face.
What?
Grazilax, Ithilid Scholar, is just Yeheni with tentacles on his face.
Yeah, like oh the Aetherborn vampire.
Yep.
Like, are you
Like
talking
even
about ability wise or like lore wise?
no, I mean like literally the artwork.
Oh yeah, they do look really similar. Thinking back to what Yahani looks like.
Like even the color scale on the body itself is the same.
Yahani's back, y'all. You heard it here first. This is what happens after the Aetherborns die. They become one with the universe and then come back as squid monsters.
Cephalid monsters.
Uh, so yeah, with D20s, like I can't wait for the discourse of like, does a spin down count as a D20?
So technically, no, it doesn't.
Because it's not random.
Right. It is a 20-sided die, but technically it's not random.
Which I guess it's really cool that the spin downs that they're including with like the bundles and the pre-release kits are actual D20s, not just
So they're not
spin downs.
Yeah, they're not spin downs, but I still think it's odd that they make two separate products that are functionally the same thing, but technically don't seem to be allowed to be interchangeable.
I mean, theoretically, you could use an actual D20 as your life counter. It would just be real annoying.
Right, but it doesn't go back the other way. You can't. I don't believe technically you're allowed to use a spin down as a D20.
No, you're right. But I mean,
So
that's sometimes just be how it be.
like 15 years of products that have been made by the same company, and at no point were they like, hey, maybe we should not do spin downs.
Or do spin downs, but like those ones that are like they're circular and they have like the little clicking wheels.
Yeah.
Like that, I think would have been way better. But what other interest? Like, what other fun things do we have?
Book of Vile Darkness looks pretty cool.
It does. I can't wait to see the other two artifacts that it mentions. the eye in the hand of Vecna.
I feel like it's gonna be. I thought on the thesaurus it has Dark Depths and Helm of Cauldra.
Yeah, it does. Which I get it. I think the idea is that those are. I also think it's really weird that first response is in this thesaurus. Like Helm of Cauldra and Dark Depths, I understand. They're cards that make a creature token.
Well, so first response is there for the first part of it, where if you lost 2 or more life, you create a
I
token.
guess it does. It is also technically a permanent that makes a creature token, but
Yeah.
like it's not on the same
Yeah.
realm as Helm or Dark Depths.
If you cut the text off before the tap sign, perfect fit.
But yeah, no. Watch them not even print hand or eye of Vecna. Just haha got him.
In next year's unset, we will have the Eye of Vecnac and the Hand of Vecnac.
Oh, I hate it. Yeah, no, this is it. Like, I love Ebon Death too. Like the two, or the so we got the 2 legendary dragons at Mythic. We got the black one, Ebon Death, and the white one, Icing Death.
Woman.
I love Ebon Death so much.
We also have the dragon god Tiamat up there.
Yeah, we do. I'm still waiting for who's the other one? Is it Bahamut? Who's the other? Who's the chromatic dragon? Or not the chromatic, metallic dragon god?
Off the top of my head, I cannot remember because, like I said, it's been a while since I
I know it starts with a B.
Bahamut could be one.
It is Bahamut. Bahamut.
Okay.
Yeah. He is Tiamat's brother, and well, Tiamat is the god of the evil dragons. He is the god of the good dragons. Well, good. In a sense that a dragon can be good.
Go ahead and check in.
I also realized why they call them Icing Death and Ebon Death, because I went and I looked them up on my own time, and their names are like almost as long as Asmarana Mordekaiser Snidikuldakar.
That was beautifully done.
I've spent so much time practicing her name. I just needed an excuse to say it.
So this is one of those moments where I like to actually do the appropriate thing and say Ragavan. Because I hear so many people pronounce it Rag.
Ragavan.
And I hate hearing that. Even as somebody who
calls him ravioli. But yeah, because he's Indian. He's from like the Indian plain. So yeah, Ragavan. Yes.
And that's coming from somebody who has no direct relation to the language or the culture or anything, and it irks me.
I saw why am I blanking on his name?
Shivam?
Thank you. I don't know why I just blanked on Shivam's name. But he posted a little video where he's like, "Hey guys, listen, it's not Ragavan, it's Ragavan. It's not that hard." Because obviously, Shivam is going to have like the cultural relationship to the plane.
Yes.
But yeah, just good old Ragavan. Or as everyone else just calls him, Monkey.
Monkey.
Return to Monkey. But yeah.
I just realized.
What's up?
They made a better jump.
Oh yeah, fly?
Yeah.
Volo? Single blue and change. I thought, yeah, because the original flight, it is just a better flight because flight is also a single blue for an enchantment. Enchanted creature has flying, but fly,
you're right. Sorry.
Fly just adds when it deals combat damage. Venture.
Yeah, that's.
I think there's already a better version of flight that is, I think Arcane Flight. I think it's also a single blue, but it gives +1/+1. And flying, I don't. I think it's from Dominaria, but
I think you're right.
yeah, Volo. But yeah, no, this set looks really cool.
It does.
But I think we'll wrap it up here. Do you have any parting words? Any cards you're excited for? Anything you're hoping we still get from the set?
I'm still waiting for that Beholder card that says Beauty is an Eye of the Beholder, and there's like a little princess character, or even like, I don't know, the Tieflings. One of those just draped in its tentacles right in front of its big eye.
I feel it. I'm wondering if Green Dragon and Black Dragon are part of a cycle, and we're going to get Red, Blue, and White Dragon.
I feel like that's a probability.
Because those are the 5 chromatic dragons.
I feel like that's probably going to happen. Like if we're getting this far into the specific, like named characters, and we've already got the other dragons, I feel like it's probably a cycle that just has to be completed here, because people will probably be pretty pissed off if they have to wait, 3 years for the next D&D set.
We do also have Adult Gold Dragon, which I want on a playmat. That artwork is gorgeous.
It is, and I feel like this is super cropped too. I feel like the actual artwork for this is massive.
I've seen the actual artwork, and yeah, it's big. I told the artist, I was like, my guy, you did a fantastic job with this. And he responded, he was like, hey, thank you. This is I want to say in his exact words, this was one of the few times where everything he envisioned for the card came together perfectly.
That's awesome.
And it's just, I love this style of wing where it goes into the tail and it forms like the kite.
Yeah.
I love just the tip of the wing skimming across the water. I love that light reflecting off the big left wing that's up in the air. It's not a phenomenal game-breaking card, but it's just so pretty.
It is. It is absolutely beautifully done. I feel like the mountains in the background are a callback to an older basic mountain too.
That I have no idea on.
It looks very similar.
I just love this like muted, like early morning color palette that it's got. Like it looks like the sun is just coming up.
So do you know what that's called?
Huh. Dawn?
It's the golden hour.
Oh, okay. There we go.
It's the best time to record video in natural sunlight.
And it's the best time to look at a golden dragon. Anyway, thanks for joining me on this, Michael. It's been a while since you and I just got to sit down and talk about stuff, and you weren't trying to kill me with Crewfix.
Or other commanders.
I don't know if I've ever seen you play another commander against me.
No, you're right. I think the other one was Andrew.
But yeah, if y'all like what we do here, give us a like, leave us a comment. We've been getting some very, very kind comments recently. It's a lot of people, because we shifted over to doing primarily deck techs alongside this podcast and Commander Coliseum. And the comments we've been getting on the deck techs have just been like, hey, I just got into the game and this stuff has been super, super helpful. And it's warmed my heart. I'm waiting for the hate to start. That's how I'll know we've made it.
I think you can make it without getting the hate. I think once you get to the point where it's like consistent hate, you're like, oh, I made it. What have I made?
When you hit consistent hate, that's when you reach the point where you stop reading the comments. But we're almost to 300 at this point. At time of recording, we're 13 away. But yeah, I'll be linking down to Michael's Twitter in the comment section, or not the comment section, the description. So if you want to go see what Magic's Hype Man is up to, go check that out, because I've said it and other people have said it. That's what you are. You spend all your time just hyping up everybody.
I try. It's I don't think you were around for it in the beginning, but the Great Giant Brew Off and the brew sessions and all of those lovely competitions, the whole point of that was to give people a place on Arena, a relaxing place to go and show off their content and who they are and what they do about Magic without having to grind on the ladder. And everything I've done since then has been built on that same concept of we all need a break from the rank and file, and sometimes it's fun to just shout out some cool people.
And everybody appreciates it and loves you. I don't know why I laughed. That wasn't a joke. But yeah, leave us a like, leave us a comment, shoot us a sub. The closer we get to 420, the sooner we'll give away another commander deck that is totally not pot themed. Uh,
Totally not pot themed.
no,
No
it's just
reference
it's
whatsoever.
plants and growing plants and having fun with friends while maybe burning those plants. But I've been your host Tyler, and this has been Taps for Two. Later, y'all.